What kinds of attitudes are not good to indulge in when things get hard? I can think of a few.
Well, I'd love to hear yours. One that comes to mind, because I think it is pride.
Yes.
And we've written papers on this.
Yes.
And I think that one of the problems, and I suffer from for the way I was raised. And if you knew my 95-year-old mother, you know where it comes from. Talking about pride. But one of the things I see is that when people are really going along, like everything is moving along, and they're accumulating, and they're living the good life, especially in the United States, but in other places too. What really begins to happen many times is these barriers of selfishness and pride begin to go up. And people are competing to better each other, and I've seen that a lot. There's healthy competition, and then there's unhealthy competition. When it's the unhealthy type is when you're doing it at the expense of somebody else. That's not healthy. And I see a lot. I've seen too much of that. And even in this crisis, this has really come out a lot in this particular crisis. I would have hoped it would have been overcome by now, and it's not. But what I think that happens after a while, we're stripped in these crises, whether we like it or not. We're stripped back to bare bones. And we begin to look out again and seeing a fellow man in a completely different way, not competitively, but compassionately, because we're all going through this crisis, this difficulty, this adversity together. And there begins to get to be that compassion and caring. And all of a sudden, the pride element, the barriers start to come down because we don't need to be prideful anymore. What we really feel is humble and broken. And then we realize other people out there are humble and broken even more so than us, and that there's other people that need help too. And that's in seeing that in spite of the pain and suffering we're going through. In fact, the more meaningful caring and charitability of self and other has to do when we're going through our own, and yet in spite of it, we're able to reach out and relate to others in pain. That's when you begin to see the barrier of pride come down. And that's a great attitude adjuster. It comes the hard way. Our society, personally, I think we really suffer from pridefulness. I know I have. And yet the brokenness is so precious because we become human. Do we feel weak during those times? I do. And I'm one of those strongman types. And yes, do I like it? I can't stand it. And yet at the same time, I see so much good come out of it. Mm-hmm. And if I have had a choice, would I choose to suffer and be broken? No. But that's what a crisis.
That's where you go through to get to a better place.
Yeah. So things begin to change in a crisis. Attitudes, aptitudes, outlooks, things that we're hanging on to, dreams, and all of that are stripped away, and then we're brought down to earth. And it's an improvement coming out of suffering, pain, struggle, and difficulty.
And a good outcome. Yes.
A good outcome.
Yeah.